Well, a few hours ago, it was a rain-affected first touring car race of the day, but now it's Brands Hatch in a chilly spring sunshine and a good-sized crowd here, all set for what should be a fascinating battle. So the grid is assembled for the third race in the 2008 High-Q British Touring Car Championship. Fabrizio Giovanardi has won 2 out of 2 so far today, but as ever, it's a reshuffled front of the field for this final race of the day. And down on the grid, we can join Tim Harvey.
Welcome to the grid for the first of the reverse grid races, and we find on the front row the man Mike Jordan, the old man of the team. He has his younger driver racing behind him, but it presents him with a great opportunity. Of course, he has won a British touring car race from a reverse grid at Mondello last year, but I wonder how he's feeling now. Mike, great opportunity now. You have won a touring car race from a reverse grid race, but you're on the front row, and Giovanardi's a little way behind. You don't want to repeat it last year.
No, he might still try and outbreak me from where he is, won't he? But I think realistically, Colin's going to lead this into the first corner, isn't he? And at the minute, we've just struggled finding the sweet spot today with it, and don't want to be defeatist. It's great to be on pole, but I don't think we've probably got the car to stay at the front today, which psychologically is not a good way to start, is it? But I'm just being realistic, so we do our damnedest. I mean, we were just a couple of tenths off evening dry running in that last race, so do our best.
I mean, you know this car better than anyone now. I mean, can a BTCC spec car win a British touring car race in 2008?
Yes, I think it definitely can. It's going to get harder, isn't it? Because the homologation advantages that the Super 2000 cars can get, quite rightly so, they're going to edge away. But for what we're trying to do this year, to put on a show for our sponsors and to get Andrew into touring car racing, Integra's a great car still. So we'll do our best. If we can grab a few podiums, we'll be a happy team.
Well, Colin didn't make the best of starts in the last race, so I think you might be doing yourself a disservice. I think if you get in the lead, you want to give it a good chance.
Oh, I shall certainly be giving it a good chance, mate. And we've made quite a radical rear suspension change to it as well. So if it's sort of backwards through paddock first lap, you know we reduced the rear rebound a bit too much.
OK, now I've got to ask you, this is a first for British touring cars. You've got your son racing Andrew. You've beaten him in the first 2 races, but honestly, are you thinking about him on circuit?
It's very hard not to, and it will be quite difficult for me to switch off away from that. I'm sure you can appreciate that as well. And, you know, I saw somebody barge down the inside at the first corner into the side of Matt Allison. Matt Allison was a complete passenger into Andy through the gravel trap. You know, you see that go on, and it is going to affect you. It's going to take me a little while, I think. Once I'm confident that he's OK on his own and he's found his feet, it'll be OK. At the minute, yes, I do still think about him.
All right, well, good luck. They say men can't do 2 things at once. I've tried commentating while racing, and I certainly can't do that. So I do feel for Mike Jordan. Let's move across the grid and have a word with Dick Bennett, the boss of West Surrey Racing. Dick, you've got a chance now with Colin to redeem something from the day.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, we're looking forward to this, starting from the front row in the Team RAC BMW.
He didn't make the best of starts, though, in the last race.
Race 1 was a fantastic start. Race 2 was average, but now's the one that counts. So we'll see what he does.
Now, talking technically just for a minute, but not being too technical, you have changed from the 6-speed gearbox back to the 5-speed. What were the reasons behind that?
It's a weighing up. I mean, I'm a great believer in cost containment, and we chose 6-speed as a private independent team, knowing we'd have to carry 30 kilos. But now, having had a year with the BMW, we decided to go for outright, looking at winning the championship. So with many debates with the engineers through the winter, we decided to go 5-speed and lose the 30 kilos. But the downside is that it's an H-pattern shift, not a sequential. So, you know.
Is that what caught Colin out in the first race?
Yes, it's fair to say that was, you know, it's the first mistake the young lad's made. So it just caught him out. You know, been used to sequential, but, you know, he's allowed 1 mistake for the year.
Well, you've always said that Colin was a very nice driver and you were going to try and engender a little bit more aggression in him over the winter for this year. Have you managed to do that? I
think we could see that in race 2, that, you know, there's a bit of fire there now, so we're looking forward to race 3.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.
Right, we couldn't leave this grid walk without talking to Seat. Their debut with the diesel has gone so far pretty well with 3 podiums, although very close competition between Darren and Jason. I'm going to have a word with Scott Dennis from Seat UK and just see how he feels the debut's going. Scott, a great debut, 3 podiums so far. What can Darren do in this race? It's the first time he's got his nose in front of Jason.
2 podiums so far.
Apologies.
It's been a great debut for us. You know, we've only had the car for 1 day's proper testing. We came here with the expectations of trying to get both cars to finish all 3 races in the points. We've done that so far, and to finish with 2 podiums as well will be a great bonus for the team.
Okay, now I can't help noticing with my critical eye that the car has got some serious pace at the end of this relatively short straight. How do you fancy it'll go when we get to Snetterton and Thruxton?
I think it'll go well, but in reality we have so little data about the car at the moment that until we run the car for the first time on a Saturday morning at each circuit, we really don't know how well we're going to perform.
Well, so far so good. It's great to see the car out there, even if we can't hear it, but well done with the car so far. We'll move down the grid now to Team Dynamics and Steve Neal, who, of course, no longer has his son racing for him. And this has caused some friction, I think, over the winter as they work in the same business. And Matt is not allowed to poke his head round the workshop door and find out what's happening for fear of taking information to Vauxhall. But Steve, as ever, runs a very professional team, and let's see how he feels. Steve. Afternoon, so far so good. You haven't had Matt in the team over the winter. How have you managed to keep him out of the workshop?
Well, of course, he's got a new home and he's got a wife who can keep him anywhere, so that keeps him out of trouble, I think.
Has he still got a job, though, working for you?
Yes, he has. In the wheel side. Yeah, that's good business.
OK, back to the car. I mean, winter development, have you found something from the car?
That's hard to tell, quite honestly, because we figured on something and then we figured we'd lost it again. So there's little bits. We're obviously faster than we were, but BMWs are very quick and the turbos are quick, so we've got to make our act a little bit better yet.
Well, Gordon's now the team leader effectively, and he stepped up to the plate very well. He certainly makes some excellent starts, and the last race, second place, a really good result. You probably weren't hoping to find yourself quite as far back for the third race.
Well, yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles, isn't it? That's the draw of the cards, and you have to play what you got. And he'll be all right. He'll come through. OK, thank you very much, Steve. Very best of luck for this one. Hopefully we've got some time to... Well, I think we're going to have to get off the grid, but thank you very much for joining us on the grid. Let's see what happens in this exciting reverse grid race.
Yes, thanks very much indeed, Tim. Yes, the first reverse grid of this new season. What effect will it have on Giovanardi's domination so far? Ben Edwards can take us through the grid in detail.
Well, it's good to see Mike Jordan on that pole position then with the reverse grid in action. He's been there before, and as Tim mentioned, he's won a race before, but he's going to have his work cut out to try and stay up front on this one. So this is how the grid looks then, with Mike Jordan and Colin Turkington on the front row. Now that Team RAC car's been very rapid. It should be quick off the line. Could be a possible victory for them in this race. Onto the second row, and we've got Matt Neal, double champion with his new team, VX Racing, and alongside him his very impressive 20-year-old teammate Tom Onslow Cole, who passed him in that last race. I wonder what's going to happen between them this time. Behind them on row 3 we've got Darren Turner in the first of the diesel-powered Seat, and then Matt Jackson, who's been fast all day. He was on pole position for the first race of the day, second in that first race, but dropped away a little bit in the second one. Plato starts 7th. Gordon Shedden, who was so fast off the line in race 2, he starts 8th. If he makes another start like that, he could still be leading into the first corner. Behind them, we've got Fabrizio Giovanardi, winner of both races so far today, and Adam Jones in the Team Aircool Seat, a car he's only just got to grips with this weekend. Next up, it's Stephen Jelly in the Team RAC BMW, the second of those cars, and Matt Allison in the Robert Shaw Racing Chevrolet Lacetti. Behind those guys, it's Jason Hughes in the trusty MG. It's still going strong, and alongside him, Mike Jordan's son. He's back there on the 7th row of the grid in 14th place. Let's see how much progress he can make. Harry Volkard and Erkut Kazilimak are next up. They're together on row number 8. On row 9, it's Martin Bell in the second of the Arcus Racing with Sunshine cars, and then it's Michael Doyle alongside on his debut weekend. John George and Alan Taylor are on row 10 together, both with identical Honda Integras. And then behind them, watch out, because we've got a couple of quickies. Tom Chilton in the Team Halfords car and Stephen Kane in the rebuilt Motorbase BMW. At the back, also watch out for Rob Collard, another of the Motorbase cars capable of a good result. And at the back there, we've got Stuart Oliver in the BTCC Racing Lexus. So that's how they line up then for the start of this third and final. Look at the sun glinting off the cars. The best weather conditions we have enjoyed pretty much throughout the entire weekend. We had that damp race earlier on, rain pouring during the middle of it. Much drier for race 2, but glorious now for race 3. Now Jason Plato starting in his Seat, starting on the 4th row of the grid. We are going to have a word with him now. We've got the radio link to him this weekend, so it's our opportunity to see how things are going. So let's talk to Jason. comes is Ben for Jason. Jason, how are you feeling in preparation for this third race of the day?
Hi Ben, yeah, pretty good, although I've got a bit of indigestion actually. I had a sandwich a little bit too near the race, and I could taste a bit of Dijon mustard.
You haven't been working with your nutritionist properly, have you?
Well, it appears not at this stage of the game, but see, the problem is my wife Sophie's at home. She's not here today, so I'll wave to her. She normally looks after that side of things, so hi Soph.
Well, we'll see how you get on in this one, Jason. What do you reckon? What are you going to say? Where are you going to be at the end of this?
Well, I mean, the important thing here is to get some good points. You know, we've had a pretty successful day with our first outing with the diesel car, and you know, we don't want to throw that good work away. So, you know, with a reverse grid, anything can happen. You know, I want to try and get as near as possible, but points are the order of the day.
Okay, well, have a good one. And that's Jason Plato, and we'll look forward to seeing how he gets on. Starting on the 4th row of the grid then on this one, just ahead of Gordon Shedden, and also only just ahead of his great rival for the championship last year, Fabrizio Giovanardi, who's already had those 2 race wins here today. Other Vauxhalls a bit further up the order, those are of Matt Neal and Tom Onslow Cole. They start on the 2nd row. So Vauxhall have still got a lot to hope for here, with Mike Jordan and Colin Turkington up front. But you have to say perhaps the favourite should be Colin Turkington, that orange car that is 2nd on the road at the moment as they continue to weave around and build up a bit of tyre temperature. Turkington, fastest lap in the first race of the day, surged his way forward from 20th place on the grid to finishing 8th in race 2. So there's every prospect that if he can get off the line cleanly, Turkington could take victory here in race 3. But as we know, this is British touring cars, anything can happen. Glad to say Tim's managed to scamper up the steps here and into the commentary box. Tim, a lot to look forward to, and I was just making mention that we've got the best weather of the entire weekend now.
Yeah, but that doesn't go to clear up some of the nervousness that there definitely is on the grid as we approach the first reverse grid race. It's inevitable, in fact, that you'll get that because there are some lightweight cars at the front and behind them.
Well, we shall see. We just saw a little bit of smoke from the diesels there. That's standard stuff. If they're on and off the throttle a little bit, then you'll see that little bit of smoke coming out of them. Once they're up to full throttle, full speed, you won't see any of that. The car's into position. You can see Mike Jordan's angled his car very slightly to try and allow for that camber on the start line on pole position. The front of the car will just slide down the camber slightly. But the 2 John Guest cars here this weekend looking absolutely superb. He's very proud of the new truck they've got as well that they bought over the winter. It's a very professional setup.
Very much so, but it was clear from the grid that he is thinking about his son, and the driver can really only think about one thing. But by angling the car up the road, it also means he doesn't have to hold it on the brakes.
Well, let's see how he gets on with the start here, but watch that orange BMW on the right, starting in 2nd place. That is Colin Turkington, and he could well make a rocket start. Red lights are on, lights go out, away we go, and it is Turkington. Look at this getaway, as expected, and also for Matt Jackson, a very, very fast start in the white BMW on the outside. Matt Jackson's going to try and take 2nd into the first corner at Paddock Hill Bend, round the outside. He's gone, yes, he's up into 2nd. What a start by both BMWs. It's Turkington leading, Jackson is 2nd, pushed by Jordan. Jordan squeezes, hold off, it's got one of the Seats, it's Darren Turner. Turner's off at the hairpin.
Yeah, Darren Turner's miserable luck continues. He started 5th, that was his best chance for good result. The dive up the inside, I think that was Chilton. There's a bit of rubbing up the back rail. Oh, Shedden straight into, big shunt.
That's a big, big accident from Tom Onslow Cole in the Vauxhall, and that's surely going to bring the safety car out immediately. Too many cars gathered together in one section of track, and the front end of that vector has been wiped out.
That car's a write-off. That'll need reshelling for sure. I hope Tom's okay. He's moving in the car, so hopefully he's okay. And well, that was Turner from the first lap skirmish at Druids. We sort of predicted this could happen. There was a bit of a hold-up at Druids. There was an even bigger hold-up at Graham Hill. The cars were 3 abreast and moving about on the bottom straight, and that was the inevitable result.
Well, it's been pretty clean. He's out of the car. That's good news. He's stepping out of the car. Dr. Paul Trafford is down there immediately, and the medical car there to take him away to the medical centre for a check-up. Tom Onslow Cole really started in that 2nd race of the day here today, finished in 6th position, his debut for Vauxhall. He raced for Team RAC in the BMW last year. He's driven well, but I think he was just a victim of circumstance. But we will take another look and try and work out exactly what went on there, Tim.
Yeah, difficult to see quite who's who. It was a Here's the start. Jackson on the outside, and Turkington getting excellent drives. And I didn't think at this point that Jackson would get around the outside, but he braves it out, and Mike Jordan gives him a lot of room at this stage. We thought he was being gentlemanly. This is on board with Jackson. The front-wheel drive cars go to the right, the rear-wheel drive car goes to the left. He's got an excellent run.
And then round the outside, this is, he seemed to have second place, as you say here, but then there was definitely a bit of rubbing up the hill.
He gets across in front here, but then gets a little tap, there, which pushes him wide, and Jordan slips her on the inside. You can hear he goes down an extra gear. There's Mike Jordan, has got the place back. Down to Graham Hill.
Now this is on board Tom Chilton. Now he was starting a little bit further back, obviously, so he had a bit more to do, right at the back of the field. So he had plenty to do from there. That's John George he's trying to get past, and Michael Doyle, he's gone to the outside there as well. Yeah,
everybody tends to sort of go over to the inside to block the inside, and if you're that far back, the only thing you can do is go around the outside. It's worked for Tom so far. He's continuing around the outside. Now he's dived to the inside of Urquhart, and he's up behind Martin Bell. Little touch there, off exit stage left is Darren Turner. Now let's see if we can see what's happening further in front. We come down the hill. Oh, he dives up the inside. In front we've got
Andrew Jordan,
we can't
one of them.
Yeah, we can't see. It's already happening in front.
Yeah, there's the accident. You can just see the car spinning, and he takes avoiding action. Bits of debris all over the place. Here we go. We might see a bit more. What happened here? Oh, Plato initially made contact with Shedden, and Shedden shot into Onslow Cole.
Yeah.
They were trying to go three abreast there, and it just isn't the space. Plato had a good run off the corner, and I think he was almost in the process of trying to back out of it when he bashed into the back of Shedden.
He had the momentum, and I think he thought there'd be room to go up the inside, but it just ran out of room, and his touch on Shedden flicked the car. Typical front-wheel drive, no grip at the rear, just flicked the car straight into poor Tom Onslow Cole. I mean, ironically, that actually saved Shedden from going in the wall, but it put Tom Onslow Cole head first into the wall. That's inside the Seat garage.
Yeah, this is what they are having a look at as well. This is on board with Jason from the start.
Well, this will be very interesting. He and Turner get away very equally, again protecting the inside.
That's Gordon Shedden who gets ahead of him in the run into paddock, as he did, of course, in race 2.
Now we may see here why Turner goes off as well. Did Shedden get into the back of him? Yes, he did there, put the car sideways, and he goes off left. Now, is Jason thinking retaliation here? I don't think so, but now we need to see what happens here just in front. The side-by-side with Onslow Cole. Oh, now you can see the momentum here. He's looking for some space. He's looking for space up the inside. There's a touch there. Shedden goes sideways, flicks right, bang, into Onslow Cole.
Well, they all slowed each other up so much. Plato had a much better run out of the corner, and he was just carrying a lot more speed, and they ran out of space to make it through three abreast down there. So very unfortunate for Tom Onslow Cole, who was completely innocent in that. Darren Turner there, his car is being recovered, so we're going to take a moment or two behind safety car here to get that sorted out. Now, of course, we've got the radio link with Jason Plato here this weekend. I think we might go and ask him what went on. This is Ben to Jason. Jason, what happened there?
Well, we'd coming on the exit of Graham Hill first lap. I've got a pretty good exit, and the two guys in front, which was Onslow Cole and Gordon, got tangled up a bit with each other, and I kept to the left side, went left to try and sneak past, and it kind of all just, you know, everyone, there wasn't enough room for three cars, and Gordon kind of came over my way a little bit, and we touched very slightly, and then I think he was kind of sandwiched between me and Tom Onslow Cole. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it looked like from our point of view as well. Yeah, it just everything seemed to run out of space, and Tom is the one that's hit the wall. How about your car? Is there any damage to your car that you're aware of?
Yeah, my steering's not quite straight. I've got a little bit of right hand down and a vibration. So yeah, we're just waiting to see how that transpires in the race. Unfortunately, the pace at the minute behind the pace car is so slow. I can't really feel how much damage there is, but I think it'll be fine. I think.
Jason, right, well, we'll wish you a cleaner second part to this race.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. When looking at the in-car, it looked like his steering wheel wasn't straight, and I wasn't sure if that was just the camera angle. And I was going to ask him myself if he hadn't volunteered the information, but certainly he's obviously a little bit concerned that once they get up to full speed, the problem may be bigger than he realises at the moment.
Let's just quickly run you through the order because, of course, we might have only got a lap in, but we've still got an order here which sees Colin Turkington leading, Matt Jackson in second, Mike Jordan, the original pole sitter, in third, then Matt Neal in fourth place, Jason Plato himself in fifth, and Stephen Jelly up into sixth place. So that's pretty good for Stephen Jelly, who started back in 11th place on the grid. Behind them is Matt Allison in seventh. Fabrizio Giovanardi not really making any progress on that first lap. He's down in eighth. Gordon Shedden has survived. I wonder how badly his car is damaged, but he's running ninth at the moment ahead of Adam Jones. Andrew Jordan's moved up a fair bit because he's 11th, and then Tom Chilton behind him, then Jason Hughes, Martin Bell, Etiquette, then Rob Collard, John George and Michael Doyle, and then the other guys that are still running, Harry Volkard, Alan Taylor are still running, but of course we've lost both Tom Onslow Cole and Darren Turner from this race. So drama indeed in the opening lap here of race number 3 at Brands Hatch. Safety car remains out for the moment. Once the lights go out, we'll be into a restart.
Yeah, Giovanardi didn't quite make as much progress as we expected. He's usually demon at these first laps, but he also has an eye on the championship even at this early stage, and he's trying to keep out of trouble, and discretion is often the better part of valour, and I'm sure he'll gain places during the rest of this race. But I think that just shows how strong these cars are. That car went into the wall at unabated speed, probably something approaching 90, 100 miles an hour, and it's testament to the team, Triple Eight, and how strongly they build those cars. The hands device that Tom Onslow Cole was wearing, that he was able to get out of the car and walk away really unhindered. But great job by them to build such a strong car, but they'll have to build another one for the next race. Safety car lights are out.
Indeed, so we will see this race restarted, and it's Colin Turkington and Matt Jackson. The battle of the BMWs up front. It's the Team RAC car of Colin Turkington that's got the advantage, but is he going to be able to fend off the BMW Team UK car of Matt Jackson right behind him? Big rivalry, of course, between these two in basically identical cars.
Well, a huge rivalry because both teams have got their own engineering skills. There's slight differences in the car. One car is built by West Surrey Racing, the other car's been supplied by IBM, which is Andy Prio's team, and off they go. A very good restart.
So we're underway once again, and Colin Turkington takes them across the line ahead of Matt Jackson. Now watch out behind as well. Mike Jordan's going to come under some pretty severe pressure from Matt Neal right behind him in the Vauxhall, and then Jason Plato trying to feel whether that Seat is damaged or not. Plato, and right behind him Stephen Jelly. Already they're all ganging up on one another into the hairpin, and Druids have got some side-by-side action going on there. Squeezed out wide, I think Shedden on the grass.
Shedden been taken out wide.
Adam Jones it was that he made contact with, I'm pretty sure, as they came through the hairpin. Jones is going very slowly down the hill, but the challenge for the lead is still on. Turkington versus Jackson.
Yeah, Jackson's really looking racy. He's actually had to dive out of the way twice on this lap not to run into the back of Jackson.
And look how
Turkington.
And look how Jordan's been able to stay with them. Because of that, he's nudging Jackson himself a second.
Yeah, this is what we saw last year with the West Surrey cars, that they took a couple of laps just to get into their stride. Whether they set the tyre pressures a little bit lower and they come in a bit quicker, but Matt Jackson was like lightning off the restart. Another safety car, I think.
Yeah, safety car is back out. They've all slowed it down through Paddock Hill Bend, and there is the safety car. So once again, Colin Turkington slows it all down, and there's the damaged Shedden's car coming down the hill, that is, still down towards Graham Hill Bend. But a lot of damage to the left front. He hit the tyres pretty hard there.
Yeah, he got taken wide round Druids with Adam Jones and sort of got onto the grass, which of course is very wet, and he literally just couldn't steer it. That's the way I saw it. He's actually driven the car out of the way himself.
Yeah.
Here we go. He's out on the grass. Now he can't steer the car. It's got a mind of its own at this point. It catches the tyres, which sucks the front end in, and around he goes.
This might be the slowest corner on the track, but I tell you what, when they go off, look there, side by side, being squeezed out by Jones, squeezed out onto the grass, and even there the minimum speed is around 45-50 miles an hour, and when you hit the barrier on wet grass, that does a lot of damage. There's the car that he tangled with at the
Jones
hairpin.
got a puncture and had to stop to get a new tyre on, but in actual fact he'll be, he's actually dropped a lap. Jones has dropped a lap, so he won't be able to get back onto the back of the lead pack.
So bad news for Gordon Shedden. He was fourth in the points after the first two races here today. That's going to drop him down the order. Turkington trying to make up for a disappointing start to the day. He's in the lead. He's got the position he wants, but fighting off Matt Jackson could prove to be a pretty tall order. Still Mike Jordan holding on to third place, Matt Neal in fourth, Jason Plato seems to be reasonably happy with his car in fifth place, then Stephen Jelly in sixth.
Yeah, back to that discussion about the BMWs. The two teams, very, very serious. West Surrey pride themselves in their engineering expertise. Matt Jackson's team, a small team, but enlisting the help of RBM, the factory team. Their car runs on Moton dampers, slightly different to the O-Lings that are on the West Surrey car. Noticeably around the track, the car is a little softer at the back.
Here we go. Look,
we're ready for a restart.
That's right, the lights are out once again. Look how Turkington has backed them all up. Now he's going to get his foot hard on the gas and accelerate that BMW out of clearways. Well judged, just misses the back of the safety car as it heads into the pit lane. That was good judgment by Turkington, and he's made a better restart this time.
Yeah, he has. He was aware that he was caught napping the last time, but just see if Jackson closes on this first lap, because Colin Turkington is a little bit weak on restart first laps of racing.
That's right, but the two of them have got away pretty evenly here. Again, the two BMWs absolutely together. Mike Jordan holds on to third from Matt Neal. Bit of a wide line a little further back there by Stephen Jelly in the second of the Team RAC BMWs. And that put him under pressure from Matt Allison in the Chevy. And in fact, he's gone wide and the Chevy's gone past. But the Chevy under pressure himself from Giovanardi. Here comes the Italian, taking advantage, taking two spots in one go.
Yeah, great opportunistic move by Matt Allison and in turn by Giovanardi.
Yeah, great stuff from Fabrizio Giovanardi. 2 wins today. Now he's gained a couple of places. That's put him into 6th. So he's got to try and chase after that lead pack. There's quite a gap that's opened up there.
It has, but not between these front two. Jackson's on the tail again, closing on the brakes into paddock.
Another look at how Matt Allison started this initially, trying to get past Stephen Jelly, but watch the Vauxhall behind.
Yeah, both Matt Allison and Stephen Jelly a little bit slow out. A perfect run through the corner for Giovanardi, not compromised at all. Unfortunately, Matt Allison just gives him enough room on the inside to avoid a repeat of what we saw in the first lap.
It could easily have been. This is exactly what Plato tried, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they did end up tangling, Plato and Shedden, but Giovanardi gets through cleanly and takes the place. So, yeah, good vision, good awareness there from Matt Allison. And look up front, no change. Turkington leads, Jackson in second place. These BMWs are so evenly matched, both running with the H-pattern gearbox now, so weight-wise, there's no difference between them.
Exactly the same weight, exactly the same gear ratios, exactly the same engines, just down to the teams and the chassis setup.
So, and the driver, of course.
And the driver, all the same tyres, of course. Dunlop supplying the tyres once again. All the same tyres for the front-wheel drive and the rear-wheel drive car, and it's working very well indeed.
Down the hill, let's just listen up to Matt Jackson into Graham Hill Bend.
Just snatches fourth for a brief instant, then back to third for Graham Hill. Runs wide, loses traction by running wide there. You see the little jump that Turkington gets. Need to stay off those curbs.
Use the curbs a bit on the left of Surtees, now into clearways. Potential overtaking area, but not close enough this time. Now sliding the car out wide through clearways, up through the gearbox now, hard on the power and building up to cross that start-finish line, 125 miles an hour and on to yet another lap. It happens fast and furious around the Indy circuit.
It does, and you can see now that Turkington's got his tyres up to pressure. He's now more comfortable in the car, and it's harder for Jackson to stay on the back. This is exactly the pattern we saw last year.
Now Mike Jordan in third was worried he wouldn't have the pace to run with these front runners. That's not happening. He's in third. He's actually eased away from Matt Neal and Jason Plato.
Yeah, he was talking it down on the grid, but I really think he's got a good chance here.
Well, he's running strongly in third place behind those two BMWs. Matt Neal behind him hasn't been able to keep that gap or close it up again. So that's a surprise. And Jordan going very well in the John Guest car. Round clearways they come. There he is, Mike Jordan. Old man, it says on his side window. That's Alan Gow, director of the BTCC, who took away his name that was on the side, gave him old man and gave his son young man.
Nothing like rubbing it in, is there?
50 years old this year is Mike Jordan. His son only 18 years old. Making his first steps in British touring cars. Both BMWs using that extra bit of road out there at Paddock Hill Bend, but no change between the leaders. You can see Andrew Jordan at the back of that next group. There he is with the yellow wing mirrors, and he's running in 10th place. Yeah,
running very strongly. Well, two little groups running here. We've got the first group of 5 cars and then the next group of 5 cars, all very close together, and certainly Plato's putting the pressure on the back of Matt Neal for 4th, and well, these two have plenty of history in BTCC, don't they?
They do, and well, we'll see what happens. Tom Chilton you're riding with, tucked in behind Stephen Jelly there at the moment. This is for 8th
Jelly's
place.
gone wide.
Indeed, so a chance for Chilton, takes advantage of that and nips through.
Yep, perfect. And there he's got the inside now alongside. These two cars very equal on the straight, but Chilton has the inside line and should be able to outbrake him. Now, will Andrew Jordan be able to follow him through? Is there enough of a gap? No.
Doesn't look like it. He's settled in behind, which is sensible.
He's got a little overlap now.
Definitely a chance up into the hairpin. He might ignore. He isn't able to. Stephen Jelly was very quick to get across, and that was sensible from Stephen Jelly. One of the few, I would think, British touring car drivers to ever have a fine arts degree. I can't remember many others that have got a degree in fine art who've gone on to British touring car racing, but that is Stephen Jelly, and he's doing a fine job at the moment in 8th place. Back to the
Jackson
lead.
still hanging on. He's still hanging on. He's sort of the gap is ebbing and flowing certainly, but they appear to have just dropped Mike Jordan a little bit in this last lap or so.
So it's still the two BMWs ruling the roost here around the Brands Hatch Indy circuit. Just 0.2 of a second separating them on that last lap. Nothing to choose. This is real pressure for Turkington, and for Matt Jackson, real determination and grit. He wants to come away from this weekend with at least one victory. He was up front leading race 1 today until the rain came down and Giovanardi pulled off a breathtaking pass to get through and take the lead. And Jackson then lost out a bit in the second race as well. He'd love to put that all behind him, score maximum points here, but to do that he's got to find a way past the orange car. We've got a bit crossed up through Surtees.
Well, a bit crossed up. I think he had his arms flailing inside the car there. He is trying really hard. I love watching this guy race. He absolutely wrings the car's neck. You never get the impression that he's coasting with Matt Jackson. He's a racer, and if there's a car in front, he is going after it.
So another little race going on here between Matt Allison in the blue car. That's the Chevrolet Lassetti. Great to have that in British touring cars this year. It's another make of car we've got in the series, but he's under some serious pressure from Tom Chilton here. Nothing much to choose. And in the background, Stephen Jelly and Andrew Jordan. Here comes Chilton up the inside of Allison, and I think he's pulled that one off.
Yeah, that was a good move. Matt was slightly wide at paddock. Chilton had a good run at him and made a firm and decisive lunge up the inside, and Matt gave him room without them running wide. But certainly that team, Robert Shaw Racing, doing a good job with the Chevrolets, helped this weekend and at the next race by John Waterman from the factory RML Chevrolet team, and certainly they're trying to soak up as much information from somebody that's considered one of the gurus of touring car engineering.
Great opportunity for Matt Allison to really firmly establish his position in British touring cars. Impressive last year, and now a change of car, change of team for this year. But there we are, our two leaders. So we're on lap 19 out of 27, still a little way to go here, and how the cars behave as we get into the latter stage of the race could be instrumental in deciding which of these two cars comes through to win. It's still Mike Jordan in third, who's been caught perhaps a little bit more over the last lap or two by Matt Neal. There's Matt Neal, second of those two cars. It feels strange seeing Matt Neal back in a Vauxhall after all these years, but let's get used to it, because there he is, and he's top Vauxhall in this race at the moment.
He is, and he's getting the big bucks, so he needs to start delivering, because he's certainly found this weekend he's got two very rapid teammates.
He has, yes. Giovanardi, winner of 2 races already. Giovanardi still in 6th place and hasn't really been able to close that gap. Here comes Jackson on the attack. Turkington has to make a little change of line to cover it, and that's clever stuff from both drivers. Real psychological battle going on here, Tim.
Yeah, there's a lot at stake. Matt Jackson is one of the new BRDC superstar drivers, and like some of the other drivers on that scheme, he wants to kick off his season with a win.
Well, he's looking for every opportunity here, but Turkington so far so good. He's just holding it, but not by much. Out of Graham Hill Bend, up through the gears they go once again towards the flat-out left-hander and Surtees. They just ease up a fraction there, and then they're back on the power, on the brakes, tight through here. So close. Talk about cigarette paper, there's not even that. They're touching surely through clearways.
There was a little touch there, probably compromised Jackson by not getting a good drive off the corner, but he's really hounding Turkington. Turkington will be looking in his mirrors as much as he's looking forwards at the moment.
This is good stuff between two of the younger guard of British touring cars. Turkington's been in the series a little longer than Matt Jackson, but there's very little to choose between them. The cars are identical as well, and it's a war of nerves out there at the moment to not make a mistake. We've still got a few laps to go. One little error from either of these guys could well determine the race. Again, it's eased them away from that battle for third between Mike Jordan and Matt Neal. Jason Plato still running in 5th. Giovanardi is in 6th place. Behind Giovanardi, it's now Tom Chilton, and then Matt Allison, Stephen Jelly complete that top 10, but it's all about the battle up front at the moment.
Jason Plato's dropped off the back of Matt Neal as well, so he's not putting him under pressure, but Chilton is putting Giovanardi under pressure.
Certainly, and he was very close up there through Clearways. Giovanardi could be under a bit of danger coming up towards Paddock Hill Bend this next time. Just watch the next cars. There you are. That's Giovanardi versus Tom Chilton, and there's not a lot to choose between the two of them. Oh, Giovanardi beginning to slide more, I'm sure. That car, he's got maximum ballast on board, don't forget.
He's got maximum ballast, and of course, but he won the second race carrying that same ballast, but it's a lot warmer now. The temperature down there is a lot warmer. The track temperature's gone up, and I'm sure he's starting to feel it as we approach this, well, lap 22 now.
Yeah, we're on lap 22 out of 27. Giovanardi so far doing enough to keep the car of Tom Chilton, the Team Alfred's car, behind him. This is where Chilton made an attempt earlier on the BMW of Colin Turkington, but Giovanardi has quite a tight line into Clearways, which not only seems to be fast for him, but it also helps him defend the position.
Yeah, and strangely, he has a very tight line coming out. He doesn't let the car run out wide at all. He takes a very narrow line, which you wouldn't expect in a front-wheel drive car if the tyres were going off. You'd expect him to run out wide, but he certainly holds a tight line out of Clearways.
Should we read anything into little bits of rubber flying off the tyres?
No, a lot of it is just pick up off the road. There's a lot of rubber down there. The circuit hasn't been swept, and we're approaching the end of the day's racing. It's not really significant.
So Giovanardi just holding on to it at the moment. 6th place for him. We're riding with Tom Chilton in 7th, but back with the leaders. Still very little change here. It's still Northern Irishman Colin Turkington just keeping the man from Henley and Arden, Matt Jackson behind him, but there's never really been more than about a car length, and then it's a similar gap now between Mike Jordan and Matt Neal in that race for 3rd place, the final podium slot. Well, Mike Jordan said his aim this year is to just try and get some podium finishes. He's in that position at the moment, but he's got one of the toughest competitors behind him. It's Matt Neal. Yeah, Matt would like to get a podium as well on his debut for Vauxhall. He did, of course, drive for Vauxhall previously under the Egg sponsored team, and that was the part of the factory team as well. So he has been with Triple Eight before, but I'm sure he'd like to get a podium. Yes, he would, because the weekend started a bit in a difficult fashion for him, only qualifying 10th for that first race, and he's seen his new teammate Fabrizio Giovanardi take 2 wins already here this weekend. That drops him down the points. Look at this, very, very, very close, and using the grass and dirt. Here comes Matt Neal. He's up the inside. It's a classic Matt Neal manoeuvre into Clearways, shoving a little bit, but there was just enough space. Well, there was enough space. He used a little bit of grass, but as you say, that is such a classic Matt Neal move. We've seen it so many times over the years, and really and truly, if you're going to defend against Matt Neal there, you need to drive on the inside line completely, because if there's a slightest gap, he sticks the nose in. But I think Mike knows fully well if Matt's committed up the inside there, it's best to let him go. Yeah, he's still very close to him though as they come through the hairpin. I noticed there was nothing between them. Look, Mike Jordan has not given up on that. We're looking at the race leaders there, Turkington versus Jackson, but if you look as they come through, look, there's nothing to choose there. And in fact, Mike Jordan, I thought for a moment, might have been nudging him round. Meanwhile, I can tell you that his son, Andy Jordan, has managed to get past Stephen Jelly. Those two are having quite a good race as well on the backstretch, and that's put Andrew Jordan now up into 9th place. So both of the Jordans in the points, and the youngster, the 18-year-old, really getting a good start to his touring car career here this weekend. Over the line, another lap completed. So we're now on lap 26, just 2 laps to go. There is Fabrizio Giovanardi versus Tom Chilton. Chilton having a little look down the inside. Not quite there. I wondered if he was going to try and stay with it and keep the nose alongside the Vauxhall, but it didn't happen. Behind them, it's then Matt Allison and then Andrew Jordan. So that's oh, look at these two, the leaders now with a lap and a half to go, as close as ever, lights ablaze on Matt Jackson's car. Can Colin Turkington fend him off up into Clearways? Holds it tight. Jackson's looking for the better run out of the corner, but Turkington's clever, waits to get on the bow, now he nails it. Yeah, Jackson took a wide line in, but he couldn't gain the momentum out on the outside of the corner. It was almost as though Turkington slightly brake checked him just to kill his inertia. Last lap for these two who've been racing within inches of each other for the entire race, distance of 27 laps, and Colin Turkington has to cover the inside this time. Matt Jackson will try and run around the outside, but he knows that's not really possible, and he could lose more time. Again, they're virtually touching down the hill to Graham Hill Bend for the final time. Turkington holds it tight. This will give Jackson a better run off the corner. Turkington may have to defend into the left-hander at Surtees. There's one more chance to overtake, and that's into clearways. Coming up now, what's going to happen? Is Jackson going to go for it? He has to go to the outside. There's no space, but he's trying to go right round the outside. They are absolutely side by side off the final corner. Jackson's on the grass. He loses momentum. It's going to be Colin Turkington to win race 3 of Brands Hatch. Team RAC do it from Jackson in second place. Matt Neal takes third with Jordan in fourth. Jason Plato survives in fifth. Fabrizio Giovanardi takes sixth. Then it's Tom Chilton. What a race to the flag there, Tim. That was absolutely an immense battle between these two.
It was a fantastic battle of wits and drivers, and both of them should have full marks for not indulging in anything naughty. I mean, Jackson there tried everything, even going around the outside in the last corner. Ever so brave, because certainly Turkington was going to lead on the outside. It nearly came off, but Turkington just put him on 2 wheels on the grass, and then he lost traction. But fantastic racing, full marks to both guys.
Yeah, absolutely great stuff. One more view of this. Jackson tries to go around the outside. This was brave, very, very tough. Didn't quite come off, and the victory has gone to Colin Turkington.
Terrific touring car racing, the climax of the afternoon's action at Brands Hatch. Costly for some, productive for others. A very good end to the afternoon indeed for Colin Turkington. We'll talk to the race winner after the break. A brilliant race and an incident-packed end to our afternoon here at Brands Hatch. The race interrupted on the very first lap. Tom Onslow Cole launched into the barrier at Graham Hill Bend. Driver okay. Safety car will be required again, but on that last lap we saw Colin Turkington hold off the challenge of Matt Jackson. Fantastic final lap, outstanding racing from both Turkington and Jackson. Colin Turkington takes the victory, and here's confirmation of that round 3 of the British Touring Car Championship. Going to Colin Turkington ahead of Matt Jackson, Matt Neal in third, then Mike Jordan, Jason Plato. Fabrizio Giovanardi, who taken 2 wins earlier in the afternoon, fought his way up from 9th on the grid to take that 6th place. And in the championship itself, Giovanardi's lead by 2 points from Matt Jackson, Jason Plato, and our race winner just a few minutes ago, Colin Turkington. Colin and Matt, congratulations on a quite outstanding race. And what sort of pressure, Colin, did you feel under in that last lap?
Yeah, a lot of pressure, really, the whole race. I thought I could get away at the start, get a wee gap and get my head down, but no such luck. You know, I was under pressure that whole race, but all credit to my guys at Team RAC. You know, I had a terrible start to the weekend, spinning off in the first race, so it was very hard work to get here now, but you know, I'm delighted.
And Matt, did you think you had him on that last lap, especially approaching clearways?
It's always going to be tough early, obviously, you know, early in the championship, but you know, we've always got to keep it clean and as clean as we can. And on the last lap, we knew we'd got the run through Colin through Surtees and on the brakes into clearways, and for sure he was going to defend, and he did. And I thought, okay, well, let's try around the outside, and hopefully we can get enough momentum to get past. But you can see there, we're around the outside now. We've gone for the move. I thought, okay, let's hold it in there. But Colin did exactly what I expected him to do, really, and that was roll the car out. And you know, in a situation like that, I think it's fair.
What sort of respect do you need to have for each other in a racing situation like that?
Yeah, a lot. You know, it takes a lot of trust in the guy beside you, and you know, with so many cars out there, and this is only 1.2 miles track, so there's really not much room for error at all. So yeah, it was a good race. Difficult start
for things for you in race 1. You must felt, as you said on pole position there, that you needed to deliver something from that third race this afternoon.
It's very frustrating to start the weekend on the back foot, and not only that, but then I start race 2 at the back of the grid. So you know, this championship is so competitive now. You need to finish every race, get some points, and that's going to put you in a good position at the end of the season. So I think I've redeemed myself in that race.
And Matt, you might have felt you were on for victory in that first race. It wasn't to be. How would you sum up the start you've made in the championship?
Yeah, I think it's been good. Obviously, we had a really good qualifying on Saturday. We put it on pole position, which was a great result for the team, and the sponsor Accident Exchange. It was you know, it was a fantastic start to the weekend. Race 1 didn't quite fall our way. We got the lead over Fabrizio, and then the rain came, and I'm sure Colin will vouch for it, but rear wheel drive in the rain is...
Well, you made a great start on behalf of the championship, because that was racing of the absolute highest quality. Well done, fellas. Congratulations on the win, Colin. And let's get more reaction now from Matt Neal, I believe, who's with Janie.
He certainly is, with a well-deserved podium. Well done. I gather that was a very clean, fair, but very Matt Neal move.
Aren't I always clean? Oh, I suppose not. If you talk to other people. No, I could see Mike was struggling a little bit up into clearways, just through the kidney up into clearways. It was my one chance, so yeah, I know the car pretty well. So if I could just get my nose along the inside, we could have a chance, and it worked.
I've got to pick you up on that. You know the car pretty well. Explain why.
It was my championship-winning car from a couple of years back, and Jordan's put it to pretty good use, and it's a tough customer to get past with either of them. So yeah, it was very satisfying.
So moving on then to Rockingham, how are you going to approach the next round? Have you got particular changes to the car or a different way that you're going to approach it?
Well, obviously the successful people this weekend are carrying a lot of weight into qualifying for Rockingham. So I'm one of the unfortunate ones who's not carrying the weight. So we'll be light in qualifying, and I'm looking forward to it. It's 2 weeks' time. I'm learning the Vectra all the time. It's very different to the Honda I've been used to. So yeah, bring it on.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Tim, give us your reaction to at the end of an outstanding afternoon, especially that last race, which was terrific.
A cracking race. The reverse grid always provides it, but two young guys absolutely going for it right to the flag. It's just what we want to see. It's been a perfect start to the championship for me. We've seen Giovanardi defending it brilliantly with 2 wins and a finish, so 3 finishes. Plato with 2 podiums and another finish. And the young gun, the star for me, Matt Jackson, 2 second places and a 4th. Brilliant.
Who will leave here happiest? Giovanardi making a good start to his championship defence.
I think they'll all be pretty happy. It's a long road, this one, and there will be circuits where some cars are better than others. I think the Seats are going to look forward to the straights, the longer straights of Snetterton and Thruxton, where they can stretch their legs a little. They'll be happy with what they've achieved so far. Giovanardi knows he's got another championship car underneath him, and all the others have seen potential. Shedden has shown potential. The BMWs are very strong, so there's lots to look forward to.
Tim, thanks very much indeed. It's been a great start to the championship. We'll have further highlights tomorrow evening on ITV4. They'll be repeated on ITV1 a little bit later that night. Our next live touring cars, that's in a fortnight's time, will be at Rockingham Raceway in Northamptonshire for rounds 4, 5 and 6. But next weekend, it's back to Formula One. It's the Bahrain Grand Prix. Coverage of qualifying begins at 11 in the morning, with the race on Sunday from 11:30 in the morning. That's Formula One, but before all of that, we've plenty of football this week to look forward to. We're back with the Champions League on Tuesday. The quarter-finals, Roma against Manchester United, is the main event on ITV1 at 7:30. Champions Tuesday gets you in the mood for all the quarter-final action from 6:30 on 4, followed by live coverage of Schalke against Barcelona. On Thursday night, it's the UEFA Cup, 5:15 on ITV4 for Bayer Leverkusen against Zenit St. Petersburg, with the only British club left in the competition, Rangers, facing Sporting Lisbon from 7:25. So that's all the football coming up this week. Champions League and UEFA Cup with that highlight. Manchester United at Roma live on Tuesday night. That's the Champions League. But after the great start we've had to the Touring Car Championship, next live action, that's in 2 weeks' time at Rockingham. Ted Kravitz will be back in charge to guide you through all of that. And he'll return to a very familiar story. The defending champion, Fabrizio Giovanardi, out front again, but a fantastic start to the season here at Brands Hatch. Bye-bye.
Let's get it started. I feel like there's someone